Before we get started with the video, I would like to quickly mention that there is a 2024 subscriber decided election form, which in this Google form, you'd be able to fill out who will win each individual swing state based out of a hand-picked bunch of swing states that I have decided to include in this form. A video will be done on these results in the next coming months. Hello everyone. Welcome back to On Point Politics, and today I'm going to be doing my final prediction for Iowa as well as the rest of the Republican primary, but not necessarily my final prediction for the rest of the primary, but kind of my first in-depth analysis, which it's not going to really be in-depth because at some point they're all going to drop out and he's just going to be winning all of them. But if you guys do enjoy the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit bell notifications so you don't miss another video that I post. And so without further ado, let's get started. So with Iowa, I think Trump is probably going to get in the high 40s. Nikki will probably get in the low 20s here. I think Vivek will outperform polling in Iowa and actually almost get second place. And I think DeSantis would probably perform under Vivek, probably get about 15% or at least 12.5%. And Asa Hutchinson will probably get one delegate here. And so Trump starts out with a pretty comfortable lead. The next state would be the New Hampshire primary, where I do think it's going to be closer because of those independents. But I do think that Donald Trump would still come out on top regardless. I think after Iowa, Asa and Ron would both drop out. There are reports that show that Ron DeSantis would probably drop out of the primary after he loses Iowa. And so I do think Asa and Ron would both drop out after this. I think in Nevada, Trump would perform respectively well. I think he would almost get about 70% there. And I think Nikki would be in a distant second and probably getting maybe around low 20s, and Vivek will probably get around 7% there. So I do think Trump would get a massive performance in Nevada. And then in South Carolina, I do think he'd actually get a pretty high vote share, and Nikki would be significantly behind him. And I do think that Vivek would get the rest of the votes. And after this, I would pretty much expect that Vivek and Nikki would drop out, because at this point, it's like, okay, he's basically won all four primaries, and you couldn't even win the New Hampshire primary, or at least for Nikki. It's like you're favored, not favored, but you had an advantage there because independents and Democrats can vote in that primary and you still lost. So it's like, if that were to happen, at that point, I would basically just expect both of them to drop out after the first initial states. And so Donald Trump would essentially just win the rest of the delegates in the Republican primary and would become the de facto nominee for quite a while until, they would obviously go to the convention and all the delegates would end up pretty much casting their vote for him at that point. And so he would end up with 2,400 delegates and 5 extra, Nikki with 38, Vivek with 18, Asa with 1, and Ron DeSantis at 5. And so I'm going to be updating my Republican, primary analysis. If they do stay in, I will keep updating this. But this is just my initial prediction. But as for Iowa, this is going to be my final prediction for it, where Trump does, in fact, get around 47. Nikki does get around, low 20s. And I do think Vivek will probably barely miss that second place mark. DeSantis will probably perform at that 12% mark. And Asa Hutchinson will probably get around only 2% there. And this is kind of what I'm looking at for Iowa. And so if you guys did enjoy the video, please hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you don't miss another video that I post. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.